Paso, Fright fans! You got Jaime En Fuego here on Enfuegotainment, where I cover the hottest entertainment with an edge, and it is my pleasure to be joining you today here on October 5th for more of my continuing coverage of Tales from the Crypt. That's right, I'm doing that all the month of October, and it has been a blast going back through this show, one of my absolute favorites of all time, and just getting reacquainted with certain episodes, even seeing a few that I had never seen before. Now, there are 93 total episodes of Tales from the Crypt, and there are 31 days in October, so that evens out to 3 a day, and the perfect thing about that is that here on Enfuegotainment, I cover the Bueno, the MALO, and the Feo, so the good, the bad, and the ugly. And so basically, as I've been going 3 at a time through all these episodes for each review each day, I've been basically giving a distinction to each of these episodes. So yes, we are starting things out today with the Bueno. That's right, man. And the Bueno is actually originally from a story that appeared in the EC Comics Suspense Shock Stories number 17. That's right, and this one actually brings back a person we have seen directing on Tales from the Crypt before, Mr. Tom Holland, and this guy adapted and directed Stephen King's Thinner in the 90s, and that was a really good one, but he is probably most notably known for writing and directing Child's Play, so he basically created Chucky, and also for Fright Night, which is one of my absolute favorite, oh my goodness, horror movies of all time, not just the 80s. And so this one had a very odd title. It was called FourSided Triangle. And essentially we got Patricia Arquette. She's just a few years removed from doing Freddy 3, yeah, that's right, Nightmare on Elm Street, The Dream Warriors, and so she was still, you know, coming off that hot streak and becoming bigger and more popular, and she is, I don't know if she was a runaway or what, they give a very brief mention of how she comes to live with this crazy older couple on this isolated farm out in the middle of nowhere, and the wife is like old and, you know, she's got a bad leg and she's abusive and she's like whacking Patricia Arquette with the cane and just being a total biatch the entire time to her, but her husband, on the other hand, has some unsavory intentions because he's basically been taking a peek at the lovely chesticles that she's got going on now. I'm assuming she is finally coming into her womanhood, and this Slimer is having some real bad thoughts. He's checking her out and all this other stuff, and so he tries to, you know, cop a feel, catch a piece one day, and some conflict ensues, and in turn, it messes up Patricia's head a little bit. And so she in turn thinks that something is going on that you as the viewer are really just guessing about the entire time. You're like, is it really happening or is it not? And so, yeah, I gotta say FourSided Triangle was definitely my Bueno. It's not the best Tales from the Crypt I've ever seen. It's probably not even in my top 10. But of these 3 episodes in the second season that we're in the middle of right now, I must say this was the standout for me. The acting by Patricia is great. The slimishness by the elderly guy is pretty spot on, and yes, the beachiness of this old rankety lady, and just the way the story progresses, it's good. It's you know, Tom Holland. What can you say? He was really tops of his game here in the early 90s. This was 1990. So yeah. So now we have to move on to the MALO, and this one, in my opinion, was just pretty bad. It was called The Sacrifice. It also came from the Shock Suspense Stories EC imprint, and this one, it's called The Sacrifice, as I mentioned. Yeah, I know, I just said that, but it's just kind of lame. It's another one of those love triangle type things, which you see so many of in Tales from the Crypt, and with all the ones that they adapted in the 93 episodes, I can't even imagine how many more there were in the comic books that, you know, just weren't even deemed good enough to adapt. And so in this one, you've got an insurance agent who gets hired by this rich, you know, kind of country, chubby tycoon guy who, of course, has the trophy wife who doesn't really love him very much. And so she starts an affair with the studly insurance agent, and they plan to, you know, to off the husband and, you know, get some money, or, you know, like run away together, get married, who the hell knows. And so, yeah, the one interesting twist about it, though, despite being MALO and just kind of a boring by the books Tales from the Crypt, is that you have Michael Ironside show up, and he's actually a pretty damn good actor, and he really brings the only interesting aspect to this story. His performance is above the rest. in this kind of, you know, tried and true, we've all seen it before type episode. So yeah, The Sacrifice is definitely not my recommendation from these 3 Tales from the Crypt episodes. But then again, you know, some people may like that, you know, I guess, you know, troubles in the home type scenario that we've seen in so many Tales from the Crypt. So, I don't know, man. You know, check it out. Be your own judge. But at least for Fuego here, yeah, it is definitely not certified Fuego. This last one, however, is about as whack-tastic as they come. That's right. We have come to the Feo. That's right. That's right. And this one is called For Crying Out Loud. And once again, shock suspense stories. This one from issue 15. It's actually kind of funny here how in the second season Tales from the Crypt, you've got so many of the shock suspense story adaptations, you know. There's less, at least so far, beyond the grave type stuff. It's more just personal conflict, you know, between regular people and whatnot. And this one is especially strange because you got this protagonist, right? And he is he's a rocker guy. Yeah, his name is Marty Slash. Yeah, and he's like a, I don't know if he's I think he's like a concert organizer, you know, businessman, behind the scenes promoter, you know, whatever you would classify him as. And it's cool because you got Iggy Pop in it playing Iggy Pop, but this one is Feo because of the fact that it is, the ugly is how strange it is. Like, his inner voice is like his conscience, I guess, who he's in the midst of doing something kind of shady, and his conscience is crying out to him. It's Sam Kinison, by the way. Don't do it, man! Don't do it! And he ends up screaming throughout, and but it's, you know, screaming inside the head, and I don't know. He ends up, there's a woman trying to blackmail him because she knows some of the sliminess that he's trying to do, and he's lied about some things, and there's some money involved, and there's some misrepresentation there, and the chick actually blackmailing him, which is kind of funny, she's played by Katie Sagal, who you guys would probably know as, you know, Peg Bundy. Yeah, that's right. And this was a couple seasons into Married with Children, and so that the interesting thing, and where the whacktasticness and the Feo strangeness of this entire episode, it was actually done by the Roger Rabbit guys. Yeah, check out old Roger there. It's Jeffrey Price and Peter S. Seaman, and they were the writing team behind Roger Rabbit, and I believe Price was the one who actually directed the episode, and you know, Seaman was his kind of like collaborative writer on it. And so, yeah, a strange episode. Definitely very Feo. I don't know, man. It was interesting in all of its oddness, and the performance by the main guy. He's from, you may recognize him from the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. I did not double check his particular name, but yeah, his performance is pretty whacktastic from the very first scene in it. So yeah, I'm not going to spoil much, but yeah, it's definitely the Feo, the strange one, but not bad. It actually might be just as entertaining at the end of the day as the first one we mentioned, you know, the Four-Sided Triangle. So in any event, that is finito for Jaime En Fuego today. I'm very stoked to be bringing you more Tales from the Crypt coverage the rest of this month, and it's quite the undertaking, and it's been just so much fun thus far. So I extend a grande gracias to all you Cinemigos across the globe who have been scoping this out. It means a lot to me. You can find me, Jaime En Fuego, on all social media sectors. I'm on the Twitters, the Instagrams, the Facebooks, and obviously YouTube right here, which is where you're watching me. So thanks again for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing all of you for more creep-tastic entertainment mañana. So until that comes, adios amigos.